Hello, one and all, Klaire Fluffle here, returning for another soundtrack ranking of the Kirby variety. Today, we have one of my favorite games in the series. I think anyway, I don't know, Kirby just has so many good games, it's hard to keep track. One that may surprise people who aren't in the know of how great GBA music can be. And, well, that's part of why I'm here. Blab on about things that I love while exposing you, maybe, to new things. And even if I don't, hey, clicking the like button and ringing the notification bell after subscribing for this video specifically is definitely what I would call something new. Maybe we could also check out my Patreon, that could be something new too, get 2-day early access to all of my videos, including the Kirby soundtrack rankings on top of other super neat perks. Special thanks to my head-patting Fluffle fan pup trends, Biohazard, Fioriole, Tyke Jane, and Miss K says bippity bippity pop. I love you guys. So, now that everyone's all settled in, maybe you got a nice snack or two, a nice cozy blanket, let's talk about Amazing Mirror. This is a pretty polarizing game, and you can only imagine how much of that applies to the soundtrack. Sure, the game itself isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you couldn't tell, this is a GBA game. The GBA, great console, beloved by many, does not have music that I would ever say is beloved by many. Lots of people love it, don't get me wrong, but just as many people hate it. It's certainly grown on me, but if you couldn't tell by previous rankings, I certainly wouldn't say that GBA music is an auto win button for me. It is for Amazing Mirror, granted, but let's talk about why. But to really understand why, we do have to compare it to the other soundtracks that are like it, Nightmare in Dreamland and Squeak Squad. Squeak Squad, as it stands, is actually a soundtrack that I really like, DS-based. It just doesn't stand out to me in any way beyond the amazing Squeak Squad theme, which is amazing. But Nightmare, one of only 2 or 3 Kirby soundtracks I can safely say I really dislike, and only one that I would never go out of my way to listen to when I'm not playing the game. I tried it on stream, I got stressed really fast. Follow me on Twitch, thanks! My big issue with the Nightmare music is, well, it's bad, but it was taken from a game not meant for the GBA and was force-fit to the GBA sound font. The result was sloppy, basic, hard to listen to, at least for me. There are plenty of people out there who like Nightmare music. I'm not trying to shame you, I hate it. And it's not like Amazing Mirror doesn't have a music that originated from Nightmare, because it absolutely does. Listen to Cabbage Cavern, for example. This is a Nightmare music, but slightly remixed, Super Kirby Clash style. And you know what? I love it! Nightmare's version was boring, slow, and dull, but this, just by adding that reverb, adjusting the pitch, and working some dark magic to give it life, it became so much fun, super groovy, and is unironically, super genuinely, one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. The GBA sound crunch somehow makes it even better, I think. I'd take this over the DS version in Squeak Squad any day. Even that file select music, which, by the way, is totally unchanged from what it is in Nightmare, doesn't bother me as much anymore. This is as power of association as you can get, by the way. It's literally the same, but I actually like the entire soundtrack here, so I jam out to it, easy, no problem. It's so good. Speaking of that soundtrack, while this could be just a me thing, I'm always enamored with soundtracks that have these great tunes that play throughout the game, but don't skim out on the smaller stuff. You get hidden gems that way, and Amazing Mirror does not disappoint. For example, the minigame music in this game, all 3 tracks, phenomenal. Granted, Kirby's Air Grind, the game, was carried from Nightmare, so the music being carried over, that makes enough sense. Not!
Oh
my god, this is so much better. It's so much fun and full of so much life and energy compared to this nothing. Oh, it's so good. I love it. Speed Eaters is equally fun and adorable, like I'm at a bakery selecting which foods I want to eat. And maybe not speedy selecting, but still, it's so cute and is my favorite of the three. Crackety hack! This goes so far in the other direction, it's just hilarious. But I do, granted, love this quiet banger rock in the background of that main melody. It goes crazy. And granted, Return Deluxe definitely amped this one up like crazy, but this original version, incredible still. But, of course, the game itself is absolutely no slouch in the musical department either, and is where I think the game truly shines brightest. Right away, I love the cutscene music. This is one of the few Kirby games I can actually say that about too. It really gives this game a much grander feeling to it. For example, when Dark Meta Knight appears for the first time and splits Kirby apart. As contradictory as this is going to sound, it's both rad and intense, while also being mysterious and atmospheric. The two usually don't mix, but to ease you into the Amazing Mirror experience, the tutorial level music has very cheery and, well, Kirby-sounding music. It's super cute, which makes the transition into the hub world stand out even more. Amazing Mirror's hub music is one of its most well-known tracks. It's short, but for the brief time you're here, thinking about what mirror door thing you want to go in, this calm and soothing music is playing in the background. It's one of the many things that gives Amazing Mirror its unique feeling, and when I hear it at least, I instantly think, yep, that's Amazing Mirror. Once you actually go in these mirror door things, let's start calling them that now, forget the canon name, the music definitely reaches its peak. Rainbow Route is such a triumphant sounding melody that motivates you to start your journey and is easily one of the best World 1 tracks in the series. Moonlight Mansion is this groovy groove that will keep your head bobbing throughout. Peppermint Palace is adorable and fits the snow theme perfectly. Snowball fight me while this is playing. It'll power me up so I can't lose. And do I even need to say anything about a track as iconic as Candy Constellation? Now, if you haven't played Amazing Mirror and you've only played Squeak Squad, I know Squeak Squad slaughtered this track, but it will never stop the original from being a masterpiece. Big, grand, genuinely epic, it's perfect for a final world, and evidently can't be recreated. Well, okay, Rainbow Curse actually did a great job of recreating it. Shush. Shoutouts to Olive Ocean, too. I never hear this one talked about, but it goes in so hard, and it's always stood out as one of my favorites in the whole game. Amazing Mirror also has really fun physics and fun water areas, and Olive Ocean is a blast to explore, so I don't mind actually playing the water level. Hey! But my favorite track, pretty handily, is Radish Ruins. You thought that Candy Constellation was this big, grand piece? Well, it is, but this feels so much more than that one, at least to me. That one definitely fits the space theming better, but Radish Ruins just has so much going on. Those commanding drums, that intense bit at the end, that intro that grabs your attention and then never lets go. This is another one that's been remixed since, but this one's never been topped. Only the GBA can handle this one. It's incredible, and despite how short it is, I never get tired of it. Radish Ruins is also my favorite area of the game. Power of Association, all that jazz. You've heard me say it like, what, 3 times in this video alone? Although I guess that segues nicely into my main issue with the soundtrack. None of the tracks here are actually all that long. It's a GBA thing probably, but if it can hurt Tilt and Tumble, I'm gonna say it can hurt Amazing Mirror. It's flawed logic, but you get my point. Longer tracks would have been really nice, instead of, it's the same track, but with an echo added, yay! Which, by the way, is something that I adore, and I wish more GBA games specifically did. Oh jeez, I'm losing my point here. What was I talking about? Jeez, I can't remember. Can a guest bail me out of this one? How about a guest who's a game dev? Take it away, Alex, developer of Kirby and the Eternal Paradise. Check out Kirby and the Eternal Paradise, by the way. Game rules.
If there was a single word I'd use to describe Amazing Mirror's soundtrack, it would probably be groovy. The punchiness of the percussion, the way that yummy, delicious bass accompanies the melody, love that thing by the way, and the weight of the compositions themselves bring something very different to the Kirby series. And what a good opportunity for it too. We really get the feeling that this is a new territory we're traveling into, with some heavier feels to represent the turmoil the mirror world is currently facing. The boss themes especially, compared to some other from the franchise, are menacing and frantic, as if you could feel Dark Mind's influence and power. Some of the battle tracks, like Dark Middle Knight's battle themes, for example, are also very strong and would go on to become fan favorites and get pretty good official remixes. I want to give a special shout out to the music that plays before fighting your regular boss, like in the room before the battle with all the ability and essences. It gives the sense that you shouldn't be here, that the beast is aware of your presence, and every sound you make will be your undoing. It's not something commonly seen in Kirby, but the use of silence here is pretty effective. But you know, it's not all doom and gloom. Tracks like Forest and Nature Area, Central Circle, and especially Peppermint Palace show just how much joyful, peaceful, and adventurous this OST can get. Like, despite being done by different composers, they still manage to get the Kirby spirit intact and flowing into each of the songs, which is a remarkable feat. It's hard for me to choose a favorite, since pretty much every piece evokes a strong sense of nostalgia and discovery. Moonlight Mansion, Mustard Mountain, Olive Ocean, Radish Ruins, and what to even say about Candy Constellation. What I do know, however, is that the music they've crafted for this game is honestly perfect for it, with a strong sense of identity, charm, and melodic greatness we've come to expect from Kirby's entire sound design team. And for the art where the audio is playing from, we rarely see any complaints about the sound font's quality and compression, unlike another game released on the same system.
Thanks, buddy! Before we wrap up, I want to dive into the final bosses. Yeah, again, Amazing Mirror showing off how climactic of a game it can be with the build-up to these fights, but let's focus on the serious bops. Dark Mennonite. Come on! How can the GBA make something this insane? Just like before, absolute bop, super fast and intense, but unlike, say, the Triple Deluxe version, I love how this one has a very sinister air of mystery to it. Like you're fighting something that you don't even know, but you can't let the unfamiliarity overwhelm you, or your opponent will. And that's absolutely what the game itself is doing. Yep. Then you get to all of the Dark Mind fights, and yeah, they can be a bit excessive, but the music absolutely rules! Especially when you fight his true form, that giant flaming eyeball. I lost the speedrun to this fight once because I was jamming out a little too hard. Nobody to blame but me, of course, but when I am speedrunning, you know, playing a game so fast, I shouldn't even be able to hear the music for more than a few seconds. I still can't help but jam out. The final shooty shoot phase is also one of my favorites. It's just so chaotic and climactic. It's super fun. And you know what? That credit music is pretty great too. It's not a medley, but it doesn't have to be. It's just really pleasant and sweet, returning home after a hard-fought journey full of masterful music. It's nice. Also, here's Klaire Fluffle trying to not show spoilers for a 20-year-old game, so instead of actually showing you the final boss that I'm playing the music for, you're getting, like, I don't know, me trying UFO mix or something, I don't know. All of everything being said, I think that'll do it for Amazing Mirror. I've gone this whole video without making this stupid joke, but I love the game too much not to, so let's just say it. Just like the name of the game, this soundtrack is amazing. It's Kirby and the Amazing soundtrack. Play this soundtrack in a mirror and you'll see a walkthrough of Amazing Mirror. That's how internet myths work, right? Anyways, I love the GBA. I love GBA music. I hate Nightmare and Dreamland music. I love Amazing Mirror music. It's so good, so energetic, and so fun. I can almost accept Nightmare having bad music because it's evident that the composers learned from it. I don't think this music would be as experimental and layered as it is without a prior attempt. But I did say I almost can forgive it, I can't fully. Back to ranking soundtracks I go. Until I see you all again, I've been Klaire, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around. Bye!